This bass was purchased from a friend who had had it in storage for about 20 years after the headstock was accidentally broken off. Apparently the bass was leaning against an amp, got knocked over, landed on the headstock, and it snapped it completely off. A common break for the 1969 to 1971 EB0 and EB3 models with the slotted headstock and the rear-facing tuners. This design made for a headstock-heavy instrument with a one-piece mahogany neck, which resulted in a short grain runout where the headstock angles back. Even a mild impact would usually result in a break. In this case, the break was very clean. Other problems included missing parts, a broken ring on the truss rod cover, and the output jack had a plastic plate curved to the body contour, which had a broken screw hole. The typical cherry stain over mahogany showed normal crazing. Although the back finish was fairly clean, there were scratches on the front upper body bout and worn finish on the underside of the neck. The volume and tone controls were worn. The electronics were all original and in perfect working order, including no audible scratchiness to the pots. At 52 years old, and with the damage and unavailable missing parts, this bass would have no real vintage value. A replacement for the screw and nylon saddle were not readily available, and a vintage one was out of the price range, considering the original bridge was not designed well and would tilt forward after extended use, hindering intonation. A replacement bridge designed to use the existing post was ordered. It would sit flush to the body and offered a massive improvement in intonation adjustments. The original chipboard case was too far gone to be used. A newer standard bass case wouldn't fit it, as there wasn't enough room in the headstock area for the rear-facing tuners. And an original 1970s case, if one could be found in good shape, wouldn't provide very good protection, and it would be cost prohibitive. Okay, let's talk to the guitar tech, Dave Treude of the Treude Guitar Shop.
Some of the negatives that we found with the Gibson when it was brought to me was a broken headstock. My favorite story about that is the fact that the guitar came to me in 3 or 4 pieces, mostly headstock and then a neck and a body. So we found the headstock break was very clean in every direction, and all the pieces fit back together perfectly. We found upon a little bit of investigation that the truss rod nut, when it was tightening up, was actually sinking into the wood of the neck. A little tiny washer took care of all that problem. Well, one of the things that we notice with older guitars like this is just a natural finish crazing after years and years of just being in and out of hot and cold temperatures, and we polished it up the best we could. The single Gibson humbucker worked great, almost too well. I almost blew up my amplifier with that thing.
The headstock repair and touch-up was impeccable, thanks to Dave's experience and his expertise. His work on the truss rod cover, the new nut, and the new bridge brought the bass back to life. The Gibson EB0 model had one pickup, a very powerful humbucker that, because of its dark, trebleless tone, was dubbed the Mudbucker, and it lived up to its nickname. The placement at the end of the fingerboard didn't help, and the muddy sound of the pickup, although revered in the 1960s in the hands of stars like Jack Bruce of Cream, was really unusable for me. Oh, and about the case. I modified a standard acoustic guitar case to fit the bass snugly and protect it for the road. After gigging with the EB0, I made the decision to convert the bass from an EB0 model to an EB3 model. This meant adding a second pickup at the bridge position, the associated pots, caps, and wiring, and a blend pot instead of the typical EB3 rotary switch. And now onto the conversion. I ordered a new bridge position mini humbucker with a pickup ring, 4 new volume and tone pots, 2 orange cap tone capacitors, 4 new control knobs, a period correct chicken head knob, a 4-position switch plate, and a blend pot. Obviously, the shield pan for an EB3 was used on both models. This not only helped with the placement of the holes for the new pots drilled through the body, but also for the blend pot. The bass went back to Dave Treude for a pickup route. The new bridge pickup sounded crisp and gave the instrument the treble response it needed, and then some. The blend pot was a vast improvement over the rotary switch in terms of dialing in just the right amount of both pickups to get the desired tone.
After a while, the neck started to bow under the tension of the strings, so I put it on a heat rack for 8 hours to straighten it back out.
After more gigging, the neck body joint began to fail.
The neck joint finally gave up. The glue wasn't holding the neck in the pocket, and it was taking some of the wood off the body with it.
Dave removed the neck and found 2 types of glue in the pocket, a clear indication the neck had been removed and improperly reglued at some point in the past. He painstakingly cleaned the pocket, created a new neck angle, and reglued it properly.
This was a very challenging project, but in the end we won. I'm very proud of this bass.
Bringing this bass back to life was a challenging but fun project, and I appreciate Dave for all of his great work.